I am sitting here with Shawn Brost of Vance Brothers out of Kansas City, and I'm a big fan of Vance Brothers and everything they've done. I actually had the opportunity to go and work for them years ago. It feels like we're not even going to talk about how long ago because we're not going to disclose any of that stuff. But so it was really fun when you and I kind of bumped into each other and started connecting. I think we connected, I'm trying to remember the first time we connected. Do you remember?
World of Asphalt last year.
World of Asphalt last year, yes. So, and it's just like a flash from the past, and it was really fun to kind of get caught up on what's Vance Brothers doing now. I remember I came to them to try to we were developing a market for a new rubberized emulsion product. So something that you guys have always leaned towards is the recycling aspects. So tell me a little bit about the history of Vance Brothers, because it's a family-owned business that's really grown and had a tremendous amount of success.
Yep, this is our 100th anniversary this year.
Oof.
So started in 1923 in Kansas City, and our original location that the company started with was a single pump gas station, and it was just around the corner from where we are now. So they haven't moved very far.
So cool.
So their roots are right there. Currently do emulsion manufacturing, contracting in Kansas City. We have emulsion manufacturing in Oklahoma City. We have emulsion manufacturing and contracting out of Denver. We have a contracting branch our southern branch is in Conway, Arkansas, and Ellis, Mississippi. So that's we have a pretty big footprint across the country. So that's what it's expanded to now. But yeah, it started off real small, and it's just grown over the years. They are the third generation, family owned, is still running the company. They're kind of phasing out. There's several members of the fourth generation that are active in the family, in the company. So,
right.
I imagine they will eventually be leading the company when that time comes. But yeah, still family owned and 100 years old.
Right. I admire, as somebody who's kind of got to work in the company and then watched the company, how they've, really found spots for the right kind of people in the family that want to be involved, but they've let them kind of stay in their wheelhouse in a way that is, it serves them and it serves the company and it feels like it feels the whole team. So, which I think for a lot of family businesses, that's a hard thing to do. Mm-hmm. So as somebody looking, I feel like you're kind of like a layer of the family, like you're not a Vance family member, but yet you've been there for quite a while, and you're really kind of integrated with that upper level stakeholder team.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that way to me too. I feel like I've been welcomed into the family in a lot of ways. So,
right. Probably some of the good and the bad, all that comes with the family stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's probably some of that. So I love, and I'm a big fan of your story. Now, workforce is something that you and I discuss a lot and have discussed a lot, and it's such a common hot topic right now in our industry. But you have a really incredible story, and I know I've mentioned to you that I think it's a story worth sharing. Tell me again, how did you get started in the industry, and how did you end up where you are now? Because currently, first off, give us your current position, and then go back and tell us how you got started.
I'm vice president over our contracting division out of Kansas City, which is our largest contracting division. And I started there, it'll be 22 years come May, I've been there. And I started there, I think like a lot of people start in this industry, I know especially with our company, where I just knew somebody that did it. So I had a friend in high school whose dad worked there.
Right.
So we were friends in high school, and after high school, still during, when he was in high school still, he would go work summers, just on a road crew, holding a flag, that kind of thing. And to me, was making a ton of money, at 16, 17, 18 years old. So after high school, I went to college for engineering and started that for a couple years. So after my first summer, when that came up, had bills to pay, was paying for myself to go to college. So I called him up and, said, what can I do? Is there anything I can do? I just need to make some money. So he said, sure, we'll get you a job. Started off as a flagger, did that for pretty much the whole first season I worked there for that summer. That's what I did. And then went back to school. And then when that next summer came around, called him up again. He said, yep, we still got something. So then I started working on a little bit of equipment, operating rollers and learn how to run a chip spreader, stuff like that, just pretty basic stuff. So
Right.
Did that for about 3 summers while I was still going to school. And then after that 3rd summer, I got married. So then I had more bills to pay, and an opportunity came up that spring where they were looking to hire a project manager. And at the time I had switched my majors. I went from engineering to project management. And so I went ahead and just accepted a full-time job there. So I've got college experience, but I didn't graduate. Started working there as a project manager on our slurry seal side, which I had never been around before, didn't know anything about it.
Oh, wow.
But it was...
I didn't realize you had hopped sides
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Yep. But it was scheduling, coordinating, it was project management. So
Right.
I knew that's what I wanted to do. That's why I had switched my major to go to that. Kind of always thought I'd be maybe building buildings or something like that. But in hindsight, the idea of sitting in a job trailer on a location for years at a time, I don't think I would have liked that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, from there, went from being project manager, and then about 5 years later after that, an opportunity came up to run, at the time was like one of our bigger crews. And so took that. So I kind of bounced back over to where I'd started doing chip seal.
Okay.
Did that for a while, and then got to be project manager on that side of the company, over multiple crews. Eventually became division manager, and then about a year and a half ago now, became vice president over all the contracting. So I've got experience in everything that we do. I've done a lot of it on a lot of different levels. So.
Yeah. I love your story because I think it's got all those dynamics of like, I don't know a lot of kids that really come out of high school and they really know what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yet there's such that big push to go to college. And I think now in our culture and in this industry specifically, and like kids, youth, even people switching careers need to kind of hear that there's alternative paths to build whatever kind of career you want and be as successful as you want to be.
And affordability today is a big thing with college. I mean, at the time I was going, I could work for 3 months on a road crew and pay for a whole year of tuition. You can't do that today.
No.
You can't make that much money.
No,
to,
I know.
To afford college.
I can't think about the statistics right off the top of my head, but I know I was reading, like when you think about inflation, we all think about, wow, like inflation's gone up. But if you compare that inflation chart to college tuition, they're not even comparable. It's I joke with people, it's like the mafia or something. It's crazy. So and I loved my years of college. I think college is great, but it doesn't always have to be that perfect path.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people are probably surprised to hear your full story. They would just assume that you'd done all that and finished that and taken a more traditional route.
Mm-hmm.
And then been paying off all that traditional route debt.
Yeah. No, I was able to go to college for 3.5 years and not have any student loans.
Right. And you still get all that experience. You still take it with you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about, you guys have always really been progressive, I think, about finding opportunities to marry recycling with making smart business decisions.
Mm-hmm.
For, if it's the products that you use, how you use them, the supplies and materials that you use. So can you talk to me a little bit about how that's kind of worked in Vance Brothers and how that's become a priority? And I think it's interesting from, yes, there's a sustainability stewardship side, but why it's also a good business decision.
Yeah, I definitely think that's been one of our company strong suits for a long time. I guess probably opportunistic is the right word. We're have not been afraid to try something new. We have vendors that we work with, whether it's a latex manufacturer or somebody like that on the emulsion side will come to us and say, we have an idea, we need a contractor that's willing to try it. We're always willing to try stuff. I know we did, there's the NCAT test track, that's with a lot of associations. We were the contractor that did the majority of all that maintenance work down there just because we were willing to, and they knew we were willing to. So they would come to us, ask us if we'd be willing to go down there and do 200 feet of chip seal. Yeah. And we did that.
Right.
So, but yeah, like you said, it's good stewardship. It's good for the environment, recycling, but it also makes good business sense. We do millions of square yards of chip seal every year. And when we use hard, durable rock, we're able to sweep that, clean the road, pick it up, bring it back to our facility, wash it, and reuse it. So
Right.
there's a tremendous cost savings there. So yeah, it's been really good for us over the years. So
Yeah. Do you find that that means a lot to your customers? Is that something that they're asking for, or do you feel like there's a shift in what your customers want or expect on that side over the 22 years you've been in business?
I don't know. It's something we certainly try to promote, in that, the good of what we're doing. But yeah, I don't know if, the customers are getting a quality job,
Right.
and that's what they know for the most part,
Right.
So that's what's important to them. And
Right.
that's, that quality is first priority.
Yeah.
So
tell me more about what it is that when you guys are looking for customers, partners, what is it do you feel that uniquely positions Vance Brothers to be that good partner or that, provider for that customer to solve that problem on that road?
I think a lot of it has to do with, one, just like I said, our willingness to try. We're open to innovation, always willing to try new things, trying to make things better. And I think also the way our company is vertically integrated has a lot to do with it. We can manufacture the emulsion that goes into a pavement maintenance product. We have the ability to work with that in our lab, to help develop that, and then go apply it. So it's not coming from a third party, where we don't have control over the source of something, and I think when you're doing new products especially, it's really important to have those quality controls in place to make sure that it can be successful.
Right.
So I think our integration and the way we cover every aspect of pavement maintenance, I think is a big reason for that. Why they know they can come to us.
Yeah.
And I think that historical track record, of we've been in business 100 years.
Right.
We're not a fly-by-night contractor that's here today, gone tomorrow. Our customers know we'll be back next year, and we provide that for them. And going back to quality, we rely on repeat business,
Mm-hmm.
So quality comes first, and that's why they want us to keep coming back.
Yeah, I know you've talked, even when you think about workforce and hiring and how you're building your teams, that really making sure you have the key people in there to watch quality, look at that QC, that QA, be willing to make tough decisions about when anything's not going the way it should on your process. Do you think that that's been kind of a distinguishing factor for Vance Brothers?
Yeah, I think so. Our guys have, they understand that, I've told them all directly, if something's not working, we need to stop and figure out why, because everything we do works in the right conditions. So if something's not working, something's changed, whether it's a piece of equipment, whether it's a material,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the environment, something's changed to make this not work anymore. So stop, fix it. Again, that long-term productivity and that long-term relationship with our customers is what we value, not how much did you get done today.
Right.
So.
Right. I think I see that as something, I know when I talk to customers, we kind of talk about like what happens in pre-purchase, and a lot of what, people assume my role is dealing in marketing on all that. But then you have that purchase experience and that post-purchase. And I think post-purchase and that putting down a consistent quality product and stuff like that actually has just as much, if not more, influence on a company that wants to be around, like you said, for 100 years. Like, that's pretty remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the goal of a company, you have to be focused on that post-purchase experience and the delivery of that, because that's what's really selling that next. And what, they say, like, and it's absolutely true, it's so much easier to get repeat business from the same customer than it is to go find that new one.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always really liked seeing that and how you guys nurture that within the company. It seems like not only are you guys vertically integrated, but you kind of seem to have some of those consistent values throughout the company, all the way from top to bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. Those post-job interviews, we do quite a bit with customers, and they're extremely valuable. You know, the first thing I want to know is, what didn't you like? What do you think? What did we do wrong? You know, what can we do better? You know, so getting that information gives us the ability to get better.
Right.
So
I love that you guys do that. I think I always call it a post-mortem in my business, and it's, you know, after a certain amount of time, I want to have that feedback loop. And I think even I encourage a lot of my clients also, like, you know, when you're with your customers or your partners, you need to have it on a regular schedule that you're gathering feedback, whether it's from your team, your customers, so that you know when you have a pulse on what's going on. But I think it's hard sometimes for people to stop and ask their customers. Like, they get fearful of asking those questions and being willing to hear the negative things.
Yep.
But I think it can actually, even if there are negative things that have to be discussed, I've seen it strengthen relationships a lot. What has your guys' experience been, since that's something that you guys have a track record with and you have as part of your process?
Well, I think the reality is, most of the time, if I ask somebody, what could we have done better, I probably already kind of know, because it was something that happened on the project.
Right.
You know, they're going to say, well, you know, there was that day when this happened or that happened, you know, something we addressed at the time, you know, corrected, moved on. So, but yeah, you know, if you're uncomfortable with the work you're doing, and if you're not satisfied with it yourself, that is not an answer you want to hear of what can we do better, you know. But I think when you're proud of what you do, when you're confident in what you do, asking somebody what you can do better just puts it in a frame of them understanding we're just trying to make this better. They're our partner. You know, everybody we work with is a partner. So, you know, just trying to build those relationships and strengthen those relationships. You know, I think to me, it is a positive thing to ask somebody, what did we do wrong? You know, obviously you always want the answer to be nothing, but that's not the case.
Right.
You know, but they're opportunities just to make things better.
Right. And I think if we don't ask those questions, we never know. So
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like that about just how the processes work, and you guys have those processes in place, and your team knows that those conversations are going to be had at the end of every project.
Yeah.
So it probably creates some accountability and pride in the team as well, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
That's good. Absolutely. Well, Shawn, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, sharing some of the insights and some of what it has taken for Vance Brothers to be around for 100 years. And really admire how they've built. And I know even in Denver, they have some folks have been with the team for an incredibly long time that have come up very similar, you know, really have been boots on the ground and kind of come up through the whole ranks. And that's, you know, it's built a great business for a great family.